How are you doing? This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, the founder of the highest paid part-time job in the world, options trading program. And what we're really quickly going to talk about, right, is the OnlyFans phenomenon, why that happened, how some people are involved in that and it's not necessarily what they thought it was going to be, and how there's other alternatives to making money, right, outside of that OnlyFans platform, which we all know, even though it's not in every situation, but it very much is part of the pornography business. And I'm not against pornography, but you have to really understand what business you're actually in when you're selling content on OnlyFans, because OnlyFans is heavily embedded in the pornography business. But first, I want to issue out a disclaimer, right? So I understand when you're on YouTube, I understand when you're on social media. We're going to be talking about the choices that people have made. And we're not talking about these choices to be derogatory towards people. We're not here to make people look bad. We're not here to embarrass anybody. If you're the type of person where you have an issue with women, like you have a problem with women, and because I understand there's a segment of YouTube and a segment of pornography that caters to men that don't like women, really, if that's your trip, if that's what you're on, this is not going to be the right video for you. There's plenty of other content on YouTube where y'all can sit around in a circle for 4 hours and talk about how much y'all don't like women. This is not going to be the video for you. So you're really not going to be able to get what you're looking for on this platform. And I'm here to tell you that you will be better. It'll be better use of your time, and you can get the satisfaction that you want on other platforms. This is a way in which we talk about economics. We talk about how to generate more income. We talk about money. We may go into a few social issues, but what we're not going to do is sit here and talk about how much we don't like women, right? So I just want to go ahead and issue out that disclaimer before we go ahead and go into it, because I kind of understand the tone of a lot of what is on social media. I think a lot of you would be better served if you went to 8chan or 4chan. I think that's a platform that is 100% suited for that kind of personality. But let's go ahead and get into it. So what we're talking about is the topic of the video is OnlyFans modeling or trade stock options. And the reason why I came up with this is because I was reading an article in the New York Times, and it talked about how a lot of women had moved to OnlyFans content creation as a way to make more money, and how very few have been successful in really generating income that was equivalent to what they had lost from their job, or been able to supplement their income where they felt like it was worth the time that they were putting in trying to drive people to that particular site. And so even though OnlyFans has been promoted very heavily in the media, right, of the people who have been able to make some money for OnlyFans, and they're really not telling the whole story, right? The majority of people on OnlyFans, even if they work extremely hard at trying to build out an audience on that platform, they're unsuccessful. We're going to kind of go into some of the reasons for that. And we also want to talk about that when a person needs money, how come they choose one right area or avenue to try to generate more income instead of another? And we're going to kind of go into that and how exposure a lot of times, right, can lead to that decision making. But let's give some background on OnlyFans. So OnlyFans in 2019 had 120,000 content creators, right? We know in 2020, they reported to have 1 million content creators. So you saw a massive explosion of content creators on OnlyFans. And a lot of that had to do with COVID hammering people income. Now, OnlyFans takes 20% of the money off the top. So everything you make on OnlyFans, they cut 20% off the top, and OnlyFans also owns the content. So one of the downsides of OnlyFans from the gate is the fact that no matter what content you put up there, they also own the content. So they can use your content at a later date for whatever they find fit for, because why? They own the content. Now, if you're looking to build something on OnlyFans, here's one of the challenges. The people that are really making money on OnlyFans that are very successful, the majority of them already had a following before they got on OnlyFans. What they did not try to do was get on OnlyFans and then build a following, because really to patronize OnlyFans, you got to pay money. So it can be challenging for somebody to say, hey, I want you to pay money to see my content, but you don't know who I am. So then what a lot of people find out is it's very easy to get on OnlyFans. It's very easy to set up an account. It's very easy to put content up there. But then now, how do I drive traffic that is going to be paying traffic to that particular website? And so that's the challenge. So a lot of the OnlyFans stories, right, that you're hearing is a lot of times from people that have already had some type of audience before you had this blitz or this rush to OnlyFans, and then they were able just to migrate or move their audience to OnlyFans. They're rarely talking about the person who has no audience. They have no name on social media. They don't have any attention on social media, and they've been able to generate that attention via OnlyFans or starting from scratch. I'm not saying it's impossible. What I'm saying is that it's probably going to be a lot more challenging than a person would expect. And then, like with any business, based on the time that you're putting in and then based on the return that you're getting, is it worth your time? And the only reason why you think it may be worth your time is because you don't know any other way to make money. One of the problems I have with OnlyFans, and I used to tell this all the time when I used to deal with businesses, but especially a lot of black-owned businesses, is that many people think the way to generate a leverage in the market is to just slash their prices. No, I'm not against discounts. I'm not against flash sales. I'm not against special promotions. But many times people will think, well, you know what? I'm going to slash my prices, right? And that's how I'm going to generate traffic and also generate sales. What happens is it becomes a race to the bottom. Why? Because if everybody does the same thing, then nobody makes any money. So what you see in a lot of industries like this is it becomes a race to the bottom. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into that in a few seconds. OnlyFans really can work for certain types of people. Right. And we're going to talk about women in this example, but there are some men with really good OnlyFans, but a lot of them also fit into the same category. If you're a prostitute or a stripper, it can be very easy for OnlyFans to be a good place of side income from you. Why? Because you already got a main source of income. So that's different than where my income has been cut off or really, capped off or been cut in half or either cut by 2/3 because of COVID. And now I'm running on OnlyFans a supplement where I already have a main income and I'm just trying to create another side income or another source of horizontal income using OnlyFans. So if you're already a prostitute, you already sell sex, right, for money. You can go create an OnlyFans account, right, because you're already using social media to generate traffic, right, to your prostitution business, right? So you already have an audience on the internet. So then you create an OnlyFans account. And let's say you take a few pictures every day, you post those on OnlyFans. If you can generate an extra $500 to $1,000 a month and you're really not working that hard because you already got an audience because you're using social media to generate traffic to your prostitution business, then it's not that big of a deal. If you're already a stripper and you got a social media platform and you got social media traffic because you're constantly promoting yourself as a stripper or a dancer, and then you create an OnlyFans account, right, to just create another source of side income, and you're just posting pictures here and there to the people that probably will never be able to see you strip, right, but they're so filled with the spirit of tricking that they want to now buy your pictures because that's really your audience. If you're a prostitute or you're a stripper, your audience are tricks, right? That's who your audience is. They're men that are filled with lust that can't get enough. So your job was to say, well, you know what? You can't see me in person because you may not live in the city that I strip in, but you could pay this a certain amount of money to see my pictures because you're so lust filled you can't get enough and you're willing to pay for it. OK, so that I can understand for that particular person why it can work. But if you're a person where my income has been cut by 60% because of COVID, so then now I'm going to try to jump on OnlyFans. And then now what I have to do is build out an audience and then try to drive that audience to OnlyFans to now buy my content. It can be very challenging and it can take a lot more time than you think. And it also could be some downsides to that. This is the downside of the OnlyFans business model that you're selling sex, that essentially is selling soft porn or pornography or what I call pinup modeling. The more women on OnlyFans, the less valuable the actual content is. So I'm going to repeat myself. The more women that are on OnlyFans, the less valuable the content is. And we saw this with the pornography industry back in the day when they moved onto the internet. Moving onto the internet exploded pornography, right? It made the actual production companies way more money. It destroyed the industry for the participants, for the actors and the actresses. Why? Because porn was everywhere. See, when you had to actually go somewhere and get porn, it was less porn available to the public. Once you could just go on the internet and look at porn, and then every year it got easier and easier and easier and easier to get pornography. The actual marketplace for porn, the price points for actresses and actors started to go down. Why? Because porn was everywhere. So porn really didn't have a lot of value anymore. Why? because it's everywhere. It's not that I got to actually go somewhere, or there may be one place in my city that I can get it, or I got to get it through direct mail. It's everywhere now. So you got something in economics that we call marginal utility and things of that nature that you may want to go look up. But you understand that a lot of times the more somebody utilizes something, the less value it has to them, right? The less they're willing to pay to access it. Why? Because it has a lot less use to them. So pictures of a pinup woman who I think is attractive may be valuable the first time I see her. Second time I see her, they're less valuable to me. Third time I see her, they're even less valuable to me. Fourth time I see her, I could care less. Now what am I doing? I'm trying to find another woman. And then I go through that same process over and over again. Same thing if you're a man, it can be the same thing if your audience is appealing to women, or even if you're a man and your audience is appealing to man, or you're a woman and your audience is you're appealing to women. It's the same psychology. The more they get of you, the less valuable it is, but you feel compelled to constantly have to produce more and more content to them. Because really what you're doing is you're appealing to a dopamine hit that they're getting from seeing new content. But the problem is that dopamine release becomes less and less every time they see your content. So this happens to everybody that plays this game, right? Even entertainers that don't do any type of pornography. A lot of times what you see with high level entertainers is what do they do every so often? They disappear. Why? Because they understand that people are going to get tired of me. So you'll see top level entertainers. Sometimes they'll really disappear for like 6 months. Then they'll come back with a project and everybody gets excited. They'll put the project out, they'll get your money, and then they'll disappear for another 3 to 4 months. And they'll come back. What they won't do is say, well, you know what? I got to just keep giving you content all the time. The top level entertainers don't really do that. The lower level entertainers do that. Why? Because they're really racing to the bottom with their stuff. Right? They're not confident that I could come in and give you something and then leave for 6 months, and you value what I got so much, you're not going to forget about me or leave me. So the more women that are on OnlyFans, or the more people that are on OnlyFans producing pornographic, soft porn, pinup content, the less valuable that content is. So then when you go into that marketplace and then you start trying to sell that content and you don't have a following, you don't have a name, right? How do you really get, right, I would say a return on what you're putting into that business that you feel like is worth your time? Now let's talk about something else. And I started noticing this probably about, 6 months ago. We already know that Twitter allows pornography on their website. That's not anything new. Everybody knows that. But what I started seeing on Twitter is that you could go on Twitter and find women are trying to drive traffic to their OnlyFans site on Twitter. And many of them are charging like $5 a month. So if OnlyFans is taking 20%, these women are getting paid $4 a month per subscriber to do pornographic content. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So then the question you want to ask yourself is that how many subscribers do you need to make $1,000 a month, which is not even really a lot of money, right? And you can look at a lot of these women and tell like this is what they're trying to do to make money. They're not Instagram stars. They're not actresses. They're not pornographic stars. They're trying to hustle OnlyFans, personal FaceTime videos, something else to just try to survive out here in the world. And it's a race to the bottom, because if you'll sell it for $4.99, somebody else will sell it for $3.99. And then the fact that you don't really have an audience means that you might feel compelled, well, now I got to drop my price by $1, which means that you're really not making any money. And when a woman is selling, right, what you got to understand about pricing. If a woman says, you know what, I'll put pornographic material on the internet, I'll charge you $5. What they're telling you is they're telling you what they think their value is. Same thing with a woman that says, hey, I'll put pornographic material, soft porn material on the internet, and I'll charge you $29 a month. Well, they're telling you what they think their value is. Because where are the women on OnlyFans that say, yeah, I'll put pornographic material, or I'll put soft porn on the internet, and I'll charge you $5,000 a month per subscriber? Where they're at. And it's because they don't feel like it's worth it. They don't feel like their value is that high. So then therefore, based on what they feel like their value is, right, they price their content accordingly. Because the content isn't just them talking about something on the internet. they're actually giving you content of them as a person, right? In a nude state or semi-nude state, or having sex with somebody else. And they're pricing it at $19 a month, $20 a month, because in their mind, well, that's the market for this type of content, so I got to price it accordingly. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? So their value and how they really see themselves, I don't care how they present themselves on the internet, right, is explaining to you what they think about themselves. And so that's what a lot of people get twisted. They, because they're tricks, they in their mind have a love-hate relationship with the object of their lust. So they want to put the woman on a pedestal, but they want to pull it down, right? So they're conflicted, they're double-minded in that particular area, right? And so that's part of what makes them a good customer, because they're so conflicted. They can't control themselves. They can't control their behavior. They're engaged in a lot of compulsive behavior, and you can just use that to get money out of them, right? But the actual woman also has a psychological issue, because she's telling people, well, you can see me have sex on the internet for $20. Why not $1,000? And it's because she doesn't believe anybody will pay $1,000 to see her have sex on the internet. Why don't you believe that? Why don't you believe that if somebody wants to see pictures of you on the internet, they got to pay $1,000 a month? Why don't you feel like you're worth that? Because they can take those pictures, download them to their computer, and now they own the pictures. So really, you're paying for really what could be considered a one-time exchange, because once they see the pictures, what else you got to show them? So why don't you try to get as much as you can out of that on the actual sale? Your average order value be as high as possible, because it can be very difficult to have a lifetime value to a customer in this particular model. Why? Because once they see 30 or 40 pictures of you naked, what else you got to show them? So why not get all your money when they come in the door? You know what I'm trying to tell you? So when I'm looking at a lot of women's offers to go to OnlyFans, and I'm looking at their pricing, I immediately know what they think about themselves. I don't care how they present themselves on the internet. I don't care how good their makeup is. I don't care how many exotic locations that they're taking pictures on. I just look at their pricing, and I immediately know what they think about themselves, right? Because there are women in this world, right? They are involved in a lot of things, but their price points are higher, or way higher than what the average Joe Schmo can pay, right? So there's levels to this, but you won't see those women with an OnlyFans account charging somebody $29.99 a month. So when we got a woman, right, that is on OnlyFans, the question you want to start asking yourself is that, why do they see this as a solution? And why are they following the crowd in this particular area? And in my opinion, a lot of it has to do with exposure and the options that they think are available to them. Most women, the way they've been socialized in this world, and it is a downside of the times that we live in, most women feel like, if I get into a money crunch, I can sell something sexual about myself to make money. They really believe that. They really believe that that's how they're going to be able to become successful in this world, right? And I don't mean successful, but I mean to be able to have some kind of success where I can take care of myself. If all else fails, I can sell something sexual. So a lot of times for a lot of women, not all women, but for a lot of women, because OnlyFans got 1 million content creators, and I would bet you a steak dinner that the majority of those content creators that are involved in some type of soft porn or pornography or pinup modeling are women. I would bet you a steak dinner that that's what's going on. That they've decided, well, you know what, this is the avenue, this is the lane that I want to get into. And I just think that has a lot to do with exposure, right? And what options they think they have available to them. And I really believe, and not in every situation, that what we've done for a lot of our people is we haven't exposed them to the right things early enough to where when they get into a situation where I need to make more money, I need to make more income, I don't really know what to go to, so I just follow the crowd. And what is the crowd doing? Well, everybody's on OnlyFans, so let me try that. Or I read on the internet about how this person made this much money on OnlyFans, so it sounds like a good thing to do. Right? And I'm telling you what's going to happen in the future. And I may do a video on this, but I may not do a video on it. If you go to Dominican Republic, right, and you go to a lot of the cities in the Dominican Republic, it'll blow your mind how many people and how many women are in the Dominican Republic prostituting themselves. Why? Because the economy is failing. So in their mind, well, the only way for me to make some money is to sell sex. Same thing in places like Brazil. It'll blow your mind, right? How many of these women? Same thing if you go to certain parts of Eastern Europe, because the economy is failing. So a lot of the women just go into sex work, some form of sex work to make money. Pinup modeling, cam modeling, straight up prostitution, pornography as far as from the video standpoint. Because in their mind, well, this marketplace always exists for me because I'm a woman, and so many men are compelled to trick. They'll pay me money for this sexual content. And to them, it's just normal. And so we got to really start asking ourselves is that, how come people are making these choices, right, without really understanding the downside of this choice? You put this kind of content on the internet, it's never going to go away. You're giving somebody your pornographic content. You don't know if you try to change your life, if you want to do something different with your life in 10, 15 years, it could come up. I remember when the sister ran for, she didn't run for it. She won, I want to say, Miss America way back in the 80s. And the fact that she had took some pictures from some guy back in the day, all of a sudden, the pictures came out in Playboy. So this type of stuff does happen. So a lot of times a woman could be saying, hey, I need to go make me some money. I need to go try to figure out how to create something. And you may not feel like it's a big deal, or you may like the attention that you're getting, or you may just be like, whatever, I'm a prostitute, I'm a stripper, it's whatever, I'm making my money. But the question is, if you had other options, would you do something different? Right? Because I think a lot of people, their mentality of how to make money is based on what do they think they can make money at. Now, why do I believe that? Because we're going to roll into what I'm talking about. It's because there was a time in my life where I didn't know anything about investing. I didn't know anything about playing the options market. I thought the only way to make money was to get involved in active labor. Whether you was working for somebody, you had a business, I thought the only way to make money was active. I knew about putting money in the bank, but I didn't really know anything about stock market, real estate investing, right? Hedging the loss of your dollar with precious metals, right? Options, futures, right? Bonds. I didn't know about any of this stuff because I come from a bunch of people that just work a lot to make a lot. That's how they make their money. They work. So the goal was, well, how can I get somebody to pay me the most amount of money for my work? So I didn't even know that these options was even available to me. And so one of the things that I really got compelled to do was, once I learned about how to make money in the options market, I got compelled to try to teach or expose as many people to this as possible. Why? So they can't say nobody told them. Because I was a person when nobody told me, you know what, David, you can trade options and you can make so-and-so amount of money. Right? Or David, you know, you can do this and you can go make, and I mean, from a legitimate standpoint, I don't mean that they trying to run me into an MLM offer or something of that nature. I mean, people that are actually involved in this space, they're successful in this space, and then they're bringing me into it, and everything is on a level. Because you got a lot of people on social media that are promoting stuff. They really don't do it, or they're really, you know, trying to sell you something else, but, you know, using a Trojan horse to try to get you into the situation. So when I'm talking about options, all I'm talking about is options. I'm not talking about an MLM, and I'm not down to MLMs, but that's not what this is. And I actually am a trader. And I'm very much compelled to get this message out about you being able to create more income in your life via the options market. Why? Because 10 years ago, nobody had ever told me about it. 8 years ago, nobody ever told me about it. I just found out about this, I want to say around three and a half years ago. And then once I got into it and was able to get successful, I said, you know what? We need more people to know about this, so they realize there's more things that I can do to go make money. Because if you study, none of our entertainers are telling, well, you know what? You can go make money doing this, that, and the third, even if some of them are involved in that themselves, right? None of our clergy are telling us, well, you know what? You can go make money doing this, that, and the third, even if some of them are involved in that themselves. None of our pastors, not I'm saying our pastors, our politicians are telling us you can go make money if you go do this, that, and the third, even though we know for a fact, because of public disclosure, that many of them are heavily invested in themselves. And I guarantee you a lot of them play the options market. Guarantee you a lot of them made a lot of money in the options market when COVID sunk the market in March, because many of them knew COVID was going to do that. So we get left out of a lot of these conversations. And then a lot of people that are claiming to bring the situation to us, right? It's not 100% on the level. Like, you got a lot of people that was promoting cryptocurrency in 2017. And then when the market sank, you couldn't find those people no more. All of a sudden, they wasn't talking about cryptocurrency no more. What happened? I thought you was bullish on cryptocurrency. Well, yeah, they was really only bullish on cryptocurrency when that was the thing. They're not talking about it anymore. These people have disappeared off the internet. You feel me? In the options market, you can make money whether the market is up or down. It doesn't matter. You can monetize both sides of the market. That's why I like this market, and that's the power of the market. You understand me? So what I'm really compelled is to get people to understand that if you have income challenges, if your income isn't looking the way you want it to look, if you're not satisfied with your 9-to-5 income, if because of COVID you just got dumped off your job, there's a lot of ways to make money that you may not be aware of, that the people around you may be telling you, well, this is not a good way to make money, even though they never made money in that area. They can't show you any proof, right? Many of them want you to stay right where they're at so they feel comfortable about life. But you don't have to feel like I got to go on OnlyFans and make some money. If you want to do OnlyFans, if that's really what you want to do, go do what you do. But you have to realize that there are other options than getting involved in this type of thing, right? You don't have to do something that's going to be dangerous to your future or your health or your long-term safety to make money. There's other things that you can do. Trading for a very long time was a place for an elite group of people. Just recently are we seeing people, right, being brought into this particular space that don't come from that particular elite class. And I'm very happy to say that I participated in bringing people into this space that don't come from this elite class. The people I teach, I didn't teach at no Ivy League school. I didn't teach at no big state college. In fact, what I teach, they cannot teach you at these particular institutions. They don't have a curriculum for it. They can just teach you principles of finance and a lot of mathematics. Then you still got to go learn how to trade at a trading firm, right? So I want you to understand that. So for years, the Georgetowns, the Chicago School of Finance, the big universities in the Northeast, they put people into the markets. But these people were from certain type of families. They paid a lot of money, right, to be taught. And then these were the only people that were going to be allowed to participate in this particular area. Because if you study the market, a lot of times the market is green, even though the economy is doing bad. Or the market is green, even though the unemployment numbers are high. Why? Because a lot of times they're totally separated from the rest of the world. And they did that for a reason. So in their mind, this economy is great because we're making a lot of money, even though regular people are getting hammered. And so the goal is to try to get regular people to understand that you can participate in this market. These people are not any smarter than you. I don't care what kind of degrees and background they talk about. I don't care how much they said they thought about stuff. We don't think about stuff here. We actually do it. It's an application, right? I didn't make my name by thinking. I made my name by doing. And I'm still doing, because I didn't make my name by sitting in the room thinking about stuff a long time. I made my name by actually going out here in this world and really getting to it. That's how I made my name. And I did that way before I ever came on social media. So none of this ain't new to me. But I want you to really think about, right, before you make a decision in this world, are you making that decision because that's all you know? This is all you think is available to you, right? And then start thinking about the impact of these decisions long term. Because I really believe that a lot of these people that are involved in OnlyFans are not thinking about how this is going to affect their life 10, 15, 20 years from now. And many of them may not be able to. Why? Because they need money right now. So they're desperate. So they just feel like I got to try to do something to try to make something happen, to try to make something work, because I need an extra $1,000 this month because I got bills. However, there are more options to make money than to do things like OnlyFans, right? And this is not to down somebody that wants to do OnlyFans. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Be the best at it. So if you want to know more about the highest paid part-time job in the world, reach out to me, right? It's for serious people. If you know somebody can get value from this, share it out. Hit me up in the comments. This is David W. Williams, also known as Diamond Dave, and I'll talk to you later.